What is going on, Swoopers? Welcome back to another episode of Swoop. In this episode, we'll be previewing the final home and away game against the Bombers. Let's get into it. First off, before we do get into it, I fixed my mic. So even in the last video, it wasn't working properly, and I realized what I did. I've got this bit here, and then there's another bit, like the receiver bit, and for some reason I had them switched around. So I figured that out. It's so dumb. I'm so dumb. I'm an idiot, which is fair enough. But figure that out. So audio should be better now, and it'll be better when I do my swooping around against Essendon. But now, let's have a chat about this game. So it's the final home and away game. Like this year, and I said it on a previous video, has just flown. Like I remember doing my preseason videos. I remember doing my preseason prediction video. And I said that this season will be nothing short of exciting, not just for Collingwood, just for all the teams. And it has been an insane season. It has been crazy. And now we're up to the last round. And for 10 teams, this will be the last round until, next season and they start seeing their team again. And for 8 teams, it's finals in 2 weeks because of that pre-finals bye. And far out, we finish our season with Essendon. And Essendon have had a bit of a rollercoaster season. They were really good, and then, they dipped a little bit. They start winning games, and they dipped, and now they get smashed by the Giants last week to the tune of, over 120 points. The Giants kicked their biggest score in their history. So now we play them when we need a win. We've seen a lot of news reports and a lot of media and a lot of footy TV shows saying the last 10 premiers haven't lost more than 2 games in their final 5 games or whatever it may be. And we've lost 3 of our last 4. And it doesn't look good, obviously. Like, you don't need me or Einstein to come up and tell you, hey, Collingwood aren't playing as well as they were playing at the start of the season. Like, that's evident by losing 3 of your last 4 games, But we go into this game with the minor premiership on the line. If we lose and the Lions lose, we're pretty much solidified there because I think we're 12 percentage points on top of Port Adelaide at the moment. But if we lose and the Lions win, that would mess up with the percentage. That would go on top of us. We would finish second. So this game does have a lot of ramifications with who we play in the first week of finals. Is it Melbourne or is it Port Adelaide? We're really not going to know until, the round 24 has been done and dusted. But what we can do, we can't change anyone else's results. What we can do is focus on our game and our results and just going out to win. Now, I'm not going to talk about, I think, going down the corridor or the wings or all this. I'm not going to, and not that I analyse the games anyway, because I'm not an expert at all, but I'm not going to sort of talk about where I think we can win, where I think we can lose. I want to talk about what we haven't been doing and what we need to be doing in the lead up to finals. And we've all seen this, right? We were first in, defensive efforts, center, ground ball gets, clearances, stoppage, scoring from stoppage clearances, rebounding from the defence, less points in. And then we concede 100 points in the last 3 games. And there's only 2 other teams that have conceded 3 consecutive games with over 100 points. Us, North, and the West Coast Eagles. Something definitely has to change. Do I think Essendon are going to kick over 100 points? No, right? But what I think Essendon are going to do is they're going to come out and, mathematically, they can still make finals. They need to beat us by 130 points and Carlton need to beat the Giants by over 100 points for them to make final because of percentage, right? Mathematically possible, probably definitely not possible. But they are going to come out and show their fans that last week was just a little blip on their radar. And, they want to show Brad Scott, they want to show the board that they can go that one step further next year and play finals, right? Because, they haven't played finals in X amount of games. So we are, I think anyway, and you can ask any Collingwood supporter, they'll probably think the same. We are going to get not the best version of Essendon, but I think we're going to get an Essendon that are going to just be hungry to prove to themselves, prove to the board that they can do what they can do and to disrupt our season because they are one of our biggest sort of rivals, not finals rivals, but one of our biggest rivals, Essendon, Carlton, Collingwood, Richmond, right? The big 4 Victorian teams. So you would think that they want to put a dampener on our end to the season going into finals, and they want to put a big sort of celebratory, give the fans a reason to look forward to the next 6 months before the finals, before season 1 starts again. So I feel like we are going to get an insane Essendon. I don't think we're going to get the GWS Essendon from last week. What does that mean though? It means that we need to right so many wrongs that we've had in the last couple of weeks. Brisbane outplayed us. We kicked 100 points, okay. They put on 124 points, which is more than Craig McRae's let through since he's been starting to coach us. Our defensive structure is all up the wazoo, right? The zone is insane. We've gone from, like I said, 1st to 18th in most of these defensive stats, most of these ground ball stats, most of these contested ball stats, and all of this. It's not going to be a flick of the switch, but what I want to see is just working on these little things leading into the first final, right? We know that as soon as this round 24 is done, all we have to do is qualify. Fly's been saying that all season. All we have to do is qualify, and then the second season starts, the finals start. And we know that finals, all about pressure, all about those defensive acts, scoring from those defensive acts. It's going to be down and dirty. Finals is a very, very different sport compared to the home and away season. It's not going to be as bruise-free as it was. Pendles came out and said last week's game against Brisbane was bruise-free. And I feel like that's been the mentality for the last 4 or 5 weeks. And it kind of coincides with beating Fremantle, beating Port Adelaide, sewing up a top 2 spot, and then kind of relaxing and playing bruise-free footy, knowing we can't drop out of that top 4, can't drop out of that top 2. So it's going to be a different beast, finals. But it all starts with this Essendon game. We need to show what we showed in those couple of quarters against Geelong. Pressure, it's been okay. Even the pressure against the Lions was pretty good. So the pressure is okay. I'm happy with where the pressure's going. But I need to see more defensive efforts. We're not going to have more now. We're not going to have Nathan Murphy. So Jeremy Howe probably drops back. We probably bring in Trey Rusco or Will Kelly would be one of those two. I think probably bring in Rusco, who will play a Nathan Murphy role. Played it earlier on in the season, especially in Anzac Day. So our defense is going to get tested a lot. And all I want is just for everything that we've been lacking, scores from stoppages. We were like number 1 in that or close to the top as well. Scores from turnovers. We at the start of the season, we were creating so many turnovers, and now we're just not doing it. We're not capitalizing, and then it's just the defense. We can't let another team kick 100 points. We were so tight-lipped in defense, and it was the best defensive unit all around the AFL world, right? And now I think Carlton have got that mantle at the moment. So we need to get back to basics. And the thing is, Pendlebury came out in his Jock and Journo podcast and said they're a very coachable and easy side. If they show footage of we weren't doing things right here, they're easy to correct it. And like Pendle said, we can't be... It's not like we were bad defensively all throughout the season and now we're trying to change it to win finals. We were good for the first 17, 18 weeks of the season. We were defensively really, really, really strong and really stingy out of our defense, and now it's changed a little bit. So it's not like we haven't done it all season. We can do it. So the switch might be able to get flicked a little bit quicker, but it just needs to give the supporters hope that you don't want to go out straight sets in finals, right? All we need to do is see that the team, the coaches, they know what they've done wrong in the block of last 4 or 5 games, and they want to, atone for it, but they want to just change it around and start playing finals footy this week, right? I don't mean 4 quarters of just fast-paced footy, go in, bruise everyone, smash everyone, but they need to just tweak a little bit of things just so we can see. And I don't think we're going to lose, but we just need to see that we're going to be okay for finals footy. Just a bit of a reassurance. Now, personnel-wise, we won't have Nathan Murphy, like I said. He's a lower back corky from that fall, so he'll be out till the first week of finals. We do welcome back Jordan De Goey. We do welcome back Bobby Hill. So we're getting 2 really good players back. We definitely missed Jordan's run from the middle yesterday with his clearance work, his elite kicking into the forward line work. Did I say yesterday? I meant last week against the Lions. So we get that back, and we get Bobby Hill's just run and gun sort of game, you know. With Ginnivan in the side as well, Bobby Hill can go up and play sort of a high half forward role like he was playing a couple of weeks ago against Geelong. He links up really well with Ginnivan. Ginnivan can stay around, doesn't have to go up too much. So that Bobby Hill electric running machine, we get that back, and a bit more excitement into our forward line, and a couple more smalls into our forward line, because you've got to think that we're going to be without Bo McCreary as well. So not only do we have Nathan Murphy as a force change, we've got Bo McCreary as another force change. Jordan De Goey comes in. I think Rusco might come in, and Bobby Hill definitely comes in. They were just talked about on there in the presser from Fly. My big calls and predictions. So I'm predicting Collingwood are going to win. When do I predict that we're not going to win? But I don't think it's going to be an 80-point thumping like, you know, GWS gave Essendon last week. I think it only might be 5 or 6 goals. Like I said, I feel like Essendon want to show their supporters that they're here to sort of do damage next year, maybe. So I think they'll come out, give us what they can for a couple of quarters, and then we sort of run over the top. 5 or 6 goals, I have us winning by. My big call, it's not really a big call, but with us winning, my big call is that we're minor premiers for the first time since 2011, which would be really nice. And it's kind of just a way to, you know, cap off a really good home and away season. We did a lot of work at the start of the season and throughout the middle of the season, you know, only losing a couple of games until we copped Carlton and then Hawthorn. So we did a lot of work before that. And we're in the position now because we were a good defensive team, because we were scoring a lot. So it's not like we're just scraping into 8th or 7th position like we kind of were last year when we just scraped into 4th. So I think the minor premiership will help us out a little bit, just with that sort of confidence boost. But if I'm going personnel-wise, I think Jordan De Goey kicks 3 goals and has 25 plus touches just on his sort of big return. But look, all eyes are just on if we can do the basics right that we were doing at the start of the year, because you don't want to have another game like the Brisbane game, like the Carlton and the Hawthorn game, where everything sort of just goes wrong and you limp into finals. I just don't want opposition supporters in our ears, you know what I mean? So we are going to show that we can flip it on when we need to, or flick the switch when we need to. So fingers crossed that's what's happened on Friday night. But look, anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate all of you, just like no other, right? I've got my microphones working now. Swoop and around will be good. I've got some guests in the lineup that'll be on hopefully in the next 2 weeks if we can get a time worked out. So be on the lookout for that. Instagram, you know the drill. But until then, like, comment, subscribe, tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets, and until next time, double shackers. I'll swoop you later.